This podcast discusses a non-stop, thrilling adventure fantasy series set in the brutal and competitive world of a military college for dragon riders, which includes potential spoilers for all published material. This episode includes elements regarding injury, death, bodily fluids, and explicit language. Listeners who may be sensitive to these elements, cross the parapet at your own risk and prepare to enter the Wing Readers. Welcome to the Wing Readers, where we deep dive into the Empyrean series chapter by chapter, theorize and overanalyze. I'm Abby.
I'm John.
August Cassie.
And today we are covering Fourth Wing Chapter 13. Here is your friendly reminder that there will be spoilers. I was feeling a little feisty last chapter and it wasn't so friendly, but we're back to being kind. So, friendly reminder, all published material is fair game, so please listen at your own risk. And now we are going to go into Battle Brief, which is where we talk about personal and podcast news.
I got my media server mostly up and running.
You're what now?
My media, so you guys maybe haven't been part of this conversation, but I have had a media server running at my home for a long time now with a bunch of my personal media that I have downloaded or accumulated over time. Mm-hmm. And about a month ago, the company that I was using, their software is, they're called Plex, and that's the name of the company and the software. They have been slowly over the last few years pivoting away from open source, free to use, we just want to make something that people will enjoy, to no, we want to make money. And so they have switched to, if you would like to use our service and would like to have the ability to access your media from outside the house, or the ability to download media to your devices for later enjoyment when you don't have access to a connection, you have to pay us a monthly fee. Or you can give us $250 right now and we'll count it as paid for life. Just for you. And so I made the knee-jerk decision a couple of weeks ago that fuck it, I'm done dealing with Plex. And so I moved over to a truly open source software called Jellyfin. It's a very fun name. And so I've been slowly learning how to use Linux and this software and how SSL certificates work so that you can have an HTTPS in an encrypted feed versus an unencrypted feed. So that when I'm streaming my media from outside the house, people can't just be listening in and being like, he's watching Downton Abbey.
That reminds me of how Amazon was like, hey, so you know how we do ebooks for your Kindle and all that cool stuff? Well, starting in a month, this is already passed. They're starting in a month, you can't read it on anything other than a Kindle.
Yeah, because they don't want it to be transferable and have people making copies essentially.
Yep. So people are like, but I own this, and it's not just going forward. It's retroactive. Anything that you've bought, any ebooks that you've bought.
Could you export the ebooks for other apps before?
Yes.
Yeah.
I never knew you could do that. I thought that they had to stay in Kindle forever.
Now they do. But
with DRM.
Yeah, so that's just another example of the digitizing of different media means that we truly don't own anything
anymore. No.
Anything.
And a lot of it is well, you don't actually own it because it's digital. You just get a permanent rental of this copy.
Yeah.
But we can also retract it at any time.
Yeah.
Did you
games
guys see
are starting
the
to do that too.
Yeah, no, this is...
Yeah. Where it's just a pass key. So before, you bought it and you owned it and you could,
you could resell it.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is what's happening is if you buy a Nintendo game in physical form, you get a little memory card, you stick it in, but that memory card is just she's saying, a key that gives you permission to download the game from the server and play it, but once you've registered that key, it can only be played with your account.
Yep. So no more sharing games, no more reselling,
I hate that.
I know, I hate it too. So even some physical media is starting to be no, you don't really own that either.
Yeah.
And hence why I'm clinging on to my physical books.
Yeah, last year, I started buying like physical copies of movies and TV shows that I wanted to have, and like getting hard copies of my favorite books that I didn't own, and like also because once the apocalypse
Yes.
comes and society falls apart, nothing digital will exist anymore. So I'm also like, I need to print out all of my writings and put them, like the story I'm working on, I need to print the entire thing out, put it in the safe I don't have, and
See, I'm the opposite direction of like, I've made a purposeful effort of if I'm going to own something digital, I want to have complete control over an unrestricted file myself, with the
Yeah.
knowledge that like if the apocalypse truly hits and I absolutely need to find a way to get to my digital files, one way or another I can find a solar panel or a to power on the lowest power device that I have and plug in a hard drive and just be like, here's this file, and put it on my phone, which I'm going to try to always keep charged. And
did I tell you guys that we're getting solar panels?
ooh,
Oh, thrilled for you. That's very
Yeah,
exciting.
it's taken a couple months to get through all of the like consulting and the signing and the whatever, but we finally signed the final contract and made the down payment. So now we just need the guy to come out and decide when they're installing them.
That is so exciting. Oh,
very
I'm so happy for you.
And in the future, because it's still going to be connected to the grid, in the future, when we have some more cash to burn again, we're going to invest in some batteries so that we can access the power when the power is out.
Yep, and have it
Very
basically
nice.
be like a pass-through battery charge, battery standby.
Yep.
Nice.
Speaking of the apocalypse.
Yes. No, this is the shit where I'm like, the zombie apocalypse could hit any day now, and I'd be perfectly happy. Just lock myself in my apartment, be very quiet with my headphones on for a couple of days, and then just venture out and gather all the supplies that I need. And I'm totally gonna turn into what's his name, that like lived in his basement when from The Last of Us, the gay love story.
Probably
Bill.
haven't.
Oh,
I
Bill.
haven't gotten that far.
That's the third episode.
Well, we might not have actually gotten to the third episode then.
The
We might
third
have only
episode
watched
is
two.
the best episode.
No,
It
and this is the problem
best
is
one.
we all of us keep talking about how much this third episode means to us, and it keeps adding on pressure to them. Like, I remember them talking about how they got to the third episode, but they were so scared of it because I kept talking about it nonstop. Anyway, to bring this
It's so
our
good.
little tangent full circle, I'm watching season 2 of The Last of Us. I'm in like the last 20 minutes of the season finale, and
No spoilers.
no, I'm doing everything I can not to give spoilers at all, other than I'm going to say this season will devastate you.
See, and Tyler just came to me this morning because we haven't had time to start it yet. And he was like, "Yeah, so it ended and everyone's saying that they just missed the mark the entire season and it's not very good and they changed a bunch of things from the game." And I'm like, "You know what?
It's an adaptation, first of all.
Yes.
Of course they changed things.
I'm like, stop trying to color my perception before I even watch it." I'm like, and I tend to disagree a lot of times with like the common opinion, quote unquote, and I'm like, and I mean that's just his
Well,
side of the internet wherever he is.
and like that's the video game player perspective, so like it's
Yeah.
I can respect that because having been an Avatar person and watching the movie that shall not be named literally in
No.
theaters.
Oh, I mean, that's
What
a
movie?
different case.
What movie? There's no
Yeah.
movie.
There is no movie in Boston Say. There is
M.
no
Night
movie in
Shyamalan
Boston
who?
Say. So like I try my best to respect it, but at the same time, as someone who doesn't play the video games and didn't know what the story was going to be going into the season, I am shooketh. I am
Yeah.
shooketh. The
I think I'll
episodes
love
have
it.
been intense.
I have a passing knowledge of the video games. I know that one of the video game writers is a writer for the show, but I know that even in season 1, people were very angry that Bella Ramsey was cast because A, they're a non-binary actor. B, they're like, Ellie is supposed to be hot. Is supposed to be cuter than that. Like, she's supposed to be a 16-year-old girl. And of course, they
wow.
were upset about the gay love story in episode 3, which is ridiculous because it's like those characters are very clearly gay in the video game too. They just like they don't have this beautiful ending. They end being like fuck you, like I hate you. So I'm happy that that was changed, but apparently for season 2, Ellie is supposed to be like hell bent on revenge, like I'm gonna fucking kill everybody, I'm so brutal and blah 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 blah. And apparently Bella Ramsey's Ellie is just not that, is what
Oh, no,
you
it
disagree?
is. It is.
Okay.
It is.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. It must be like there must be some level of difference that people are so upset about it not being as intense or whatever. I don't know. Because
It's
obviously I haven't seen it yet.
And so,
But
like, this is my problem is I'm in the last 20, 30 minutes of this episode, and every, like, 4 minutes, something changes, and I have to pause it because I'm just like, what fucking now? Ugh.
All right, now I'm going to send it over to our resident scribe, John, to break down the epigraph of chapter 13.
We have another Colonel Kaori comment from his field guide to Dragonkind. There's nothing quite as humbling or as awe-inspiring as witnessing threshing. For those that live through it, anyways.
Insert tangent about the sublime and the beautiful and the romantic period.
Yes.
And tangent.
It is very simple. It's succinct. It is to the point.
Yet
It
I love
is,
how many of his quotes end with, unless you die.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, death is a possibility in every stage of this hero's journey. So it is omnipresent. All right, Cassie. I don't think we do, but do we have any new pronunciations to discuss in this one, or are we waiting until bonding occurs?
We are good on this chapter, and I have a whole boatload to dump on you next time.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. And that's not sarcasm. I really am looking forward to it.
I just can't figure out what you guys enjoy more, hearing these interesting pronunciations or watching me cringe so visibly every time Cassie decides to say something and I'm like, what the fuck?
Absolutely both. It can be two things, Sean. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump in, get us started. So, we begin on the day of threshing. We learn that regardless of the day of the week, threshing is always October 1st. Cassie has a finger up already. And you get mad at me. Oh, we're only 3 words into the chapter, Cassie.
Yes, I know. And I'm bad because mine is just about the phrase October 1st, which is two words. I just got...
I choked on my water.
I got really excited when I was reading this because I was like, oh, I want to make an All Souls Day joke here about, something about, I didn't get all the way there with conceptualizing what the joke was because I instantly...
It was a concept of a joke.
Yeah, I instantly realized, oh no, that's November 1st.
Mm-hmm. As long as we're talking about October is my favorite month. Hands down. Halloween is my favorite holiday. Both of my sons are born in October. Actually, one day separate.
I didn't realize
separate
that was
birthdays.
that close. Wow. Okay.
Yep. So Theo is October 23rd and Noah is October 24th. So they are one day short of being exactly 4 years apart.
That's hilarious.
Which is wild. So we did celebrate Noah's birthday from the hospital room with baby Theo. Anyways, October is my 100% favorite month.
I want to comment on less personal and more in storyline. This is honestly very interesting to me because this is the first date that we've gotten from the dragons that the dragons have almost seemed to dictate to the humans. Like, this is the first holiday or event or date where the dragons honor the date as much as the humans do. And so part of me wonders if we're going to find out the first 6 bonded on October 1st.
Oh, I love that. I was going to say that maybe in the dragon calendar it's the first day of the year, but I like yours better.
I mean,
I like yours better.
I didn't even get to that sort of thing. I was just busy simmering over the use of October and Sunday and all of these.
We've discussed this before. I don't think we need to rehash it.
No, we don't. It came up again because of how many of the words we get.
Yes.
Yes.
Listen, it's, hey, nothing is out of the realm of possibility. This could be set in a very past or very future
But the gods have
Earth.
changed.
Because
Well,
that happens never.
yeah,
No,
religion never.
but
5,000 years ago, Yahweh wasn't around. 3,000 years ago, Yahweh was the biggest thing under the sun. Where's Yahweh now?
Who knows what can happen in another 5,000?
but they'll still be calling it Thor's Day.
Yes. Well, we still call it Thor's Day,
Yeah, I
essentially.
know.
We still have July and August because of Julius Caesar. So,
Yeah.
hey. Anyways,
But if they're gonna do that, I want to know the lore.
you know what? Maybe one day we'll get to it. Cassie, I'm going to gift you with the opportunity to create that lore, so you can write some fan fiction for us and
Headcanon.
describe why they use the Gregorian calendar, or what we know as the Gregorian calendar. Anyways, okay, let's keep going. So Violet repeats her ever-present mantra of "I will not die today." She skipped breakfast, unlike Ridoc, who is experiencing dragon-induced morning sickness and heaving up his stomach contents.
That's a way to phrase it.
I wrote, Ridoc is sharing his breakfast with the class, like a mama bird. Or like a really big bird, like a penguin.
Oh.
Probably putting his
Oh,
whole
goodness.
body into it.
Oh, goodness, yeah. Thanks, Ridoc. That's so kind of you to share with the class. Anyways. Rhiannon has a more productive way of getting her nerves out. She has her sword stuck to her back and she's bouncing on her feet and stretching, getting herself ready. Kaori, meanwhile, is giving last-minute advice to listen to your heart when dragons are calling for you.
Oh my god!
There's nothing else you can do.
Yeah, so that's my headcanon, that is how Ridoc and Aotrom bonded. They'd listen to your heart.
And had a whole dance sequence in the middle of the
Yeah.
forest where they danced at each other.
Oh, like a bird.
Yes. Anyways, so yes, they need to listen to their hearts as that's where they will feel it if a dragon is calling to them. As discussed in the last chapter, we get the number 147 remaining cadets, which means that the dragons found 22 unworthy at presentation and or they met their demise sometime in the intervening time.
Right.
We learn that feelings are just as important as your surroundings, including the feeling telling you to run in the opposite direction. So trust your intuition. Rhiannon asks Violet which dragon she's going for. Vi doesn't know. She feels like a failure because she knows Mira already had her sights on Chenya at this point. And I believe this is actually coming from the Book of Brennan, not that this is something that Mira has told her, because it does seem like we learned that a lot of the things around dragons and their bonds are very hush-hush. And she was surprised that Dane gave her like any information. So I think this is one of the little notes that Mira added into the Book of Brennan for Violet.
That makes sense.
It's interesting now that you mention it that we never actually get mention of Mira's
notes.
addendums. Yeah, Mira's additions to the Book of Brennan. And so that's an interesting point.
I just want to see her like writing in the margin and making footnotes and like underlining things.
You mean like what we've been doing?
Yeah.
Yes, what our books look like.
Because you know she's doing that.
Yes, absolutely. So Rhiannon dares to question if our girl Violet Studia Sorngale has memorized the cards. Violet says, duh, but she doesn't feel a connection to any of them. And I have a numbered list here. It's only 2 numbers. It's 1 and 2. Those are the numbers, naturally. But 2 things. So 1. Andarna hatched for Violet, but as a baby, I doubt that the others would take too kindly to her letting that be known. So she doesn't feel like a draw to any of them. So I don't think that the other dragons would be chill with her. We know that they're not
Broadcasting.
chill with her bonding anyone. Yes. So they're like they allow it once it's already happened, but she can't be like putting out the feels to Violet because I feel like the other dragons would be like, "The fuck are you
Yeah,
doing?"
but also they're not putting out the feelers to her because they don't want to overstep any other claim, maybe?
See,
Well,
and this is where my second point comes in. John, go ahead, but I do have
I
a
was gonna
second point.
say, like, there could be another twist on this because remember in Onyx Storm we find out that Taryn bonded Violet, and then Andarna attached herself as an Irid to that bond, right?
Yes.
And so we may find out lore-wise that maybe true golden scaled feathered younglings are
Mhm.
incapable of the bond because they don't have the right connection to their
Oh,
magic yet.
that's a good point.
But because
I like that.
Andarna was an Irid, she had connection to an alternative magic the other dragons didn't have that allowed her to
Mhm.
attach herself. And
Okay,
so,
I can totally see that.
yeah.
My other point, my little headcanon. So we know that Scale has a soft spot for Indarna, and I think that the two of them, and possibly Taryn as well, hatched this plan where she they're planning on basically like you, Taryn, are going to bond Violet, and they like concocted this whole thing. I don't know. This is a very like half-baked thought that I had as I was reading the chapter, but I'm wondering if maybe she doesn't feel a connection to any other dragons because Taryn or Scale told them to back the fuck off. Like stay away. And maybe not giving a reason as to why because it seems like a surprise to everyone that Taryn comes and bonds her, but I don't know. I
I
just
don't
like
know.
Violet has a lot of great qualities. I would be very shocked if no dragon, if there was no like intervening thing, no dragon was like, I like her.
Yeah.
That's a very fair point.
But it does, like, to me, it does feel like Tarn didn't really he hadn't made up his mind about it until he saw her defending Andarna.
That's why I think maybe Scale and Indarna have uh a little side plan. Like we're gonna
They're gonna
manipulate this
make him think it was
situation.
his idea.
Yeah.
And, like, there may be something to be said about the fact that there has been 2 days between presentation and now, and we never hear anything about what happens when two dragons want the same rider. We hear about what happens when two riders
Mhm.
want the same dragon, but not
Yeah.
the other way around. And
Yeah.
so there definitely could be this pre-negotiation to ensure that dragons aren't fighting over riders.
Yeah, maybe they're having a
And
council meeting.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
And who knows, maybe Andarna is the one that actually told them all to back off, and even though they don't intend to let her bond, they aren't going to get in her way because those be the rules.
Mhm.
I like
Mhm.
there's so much we still don't understand about how the dragons operate. Like I know that's such a
Yeah.
thing that I keep saying, but it's gonna become important. It has to.
Yeah. But it is so much fun to theorize. Anyways, Violet notes that not feeling a connection is better than wanting a dragon that someone else wants. And we have my first quote here. I have no desire to fight to the death today. And poor child, it doesn't matter what your desire is. That is what is going to happen. That is what is going to happen, is what I just said. That is what's going to happen. So we learned that Dane tried to talk her into a brown. And I'm curious as to why, because I looked on the Empyrean wiki, and the only information that we have about the Browns are that they are known for their loyalty and you do not show trepidation towards them. That's
Mm-hmm.
literally all we know. So I guess they're not called out for being ruthless or vicious.
Yeah,
So maybe
warning her
they're
away from the ones that are quick to anger and stuff.
yeah,
But I
but I
don't
feel like it would
know.
make more sense for Dane to urge her towards a green because they're more intelligent and rational.
Yeah.
So I feel like that would make more sense to keep her safe.
But also remember, Dane is bonded to a brown himself.
No, he's bonded to a red.
Is Kath red?
Let's go back to episode 2 and we talked about all the red dragons in the story.
I'll
Dane's
beat you.
dragon is
I'll top you. Might as well just start looking at the table of table of riders at the beginning of Onyx Storm.
he's red because remember they go behind a red dragon statue and I called it out that it was
Mm.
like his dragon. Riddick's dragon is a brown.
Okay. Dane is not listed on this table at all. That is fun.
Kath is a red swordtail.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe he thinks that because Mama Sorrengail's dragon is a brown, then that would give her some protection somehow. I don't know. I just think it's a really silly unless they know more than is being told on the page, which I feel like Violet's very good at telling us what we need to know. I don't know. I just think it's kind of a silly
So let's take that train of thought a little bit further here. If he was trying to talk her into a brown because Mama Sorrengail is bonded to a brown, I wonder if the whole bonding within the familial line thing has any merit when it comes to dragon lines as well. So what would happen if one of
Amish's?
Mama Soren
Amster?
Yeah, Aimster's children or someone in Aimster's line were to bond one of Mama Sorrengail's children, would that result in a stronger signet as well?
Good question.
I don't know.
Again, something that we just don't know about the dragons. So much we don't know.
I just thought it was weird that he was, I don't know, like trying to talk her into a brown as if she's the one that gets to make the choice. And I'm just like, Dane,
That too.
just step back. She doesn't have any say right now.
Yep.
Free will and agency have flown out of the window.
Yes, they have. And a dragon has flown in. Rhiannon says that Dane lost his vote when he again tried to convince her to leave, but this is a little hint that Violet is actually confiding in Rhiannon, so yay for that. We're learning slowly but surely. So that was her only conversation with Dane in the past 2 days since presentation, and it most likely ended because he jumped right into getting her to leave. So I think that she's probably been within the first 5 minutes
of talking to her.
Yeah. So I think that most likely she's been avoiding him because she's like, I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to deal with you and your doubting and trying to, your suffocating concern, like trying to get me to leave. So far today, they haven't seen anyone outside of the professors and their fellow unbonded cadets. But as we learned from Dane, the second and third years will be watching, and they are not allowed to intervene. Rhiannon says she's thinking about, quote, that green, one of the ones that approached Violet in presentation because of Chenya's scale under her armor, or in her armor. I'm struggling, you guys.
You keep saying Chenya, and I keep trying to figure out which dragon you're talking about, forgetting that you're talking about time.
Are you proud of me, Cassie?
I'm very
Are you
proud
so
of you.
proud of me?
I'm giving you a mental round of applause every time.
Thank you. So Violet and Rhiannon both take it as a good sign that it didn't eat Rhiannon when it got up close. Kaori says that the statistics show it is much better to go alone, something that the Little Incel Bitch Boy Club immediately ignores, as Orin and Tynan flank motherfucking Jack Barlowe, who makes a throat-slitting motion to Violet, which she notes as being very original.
Yep.
And I'm just imagining the three of them as like a musical gang, a la West Side Story, like the snapping and like looking at her.
Snapping, yes.
Yes.
That's my favorite musical, by the way.
Versus my brain is like, at this point, we need to start making some like audio sound effect things for motherfucking Jack Barlowe and Little Bitch Boy Incel Club, so that every time it comes up, we have like one of us says it, which is Little Bitch Boy Incel Club in the background. So if any of our listeners are so inclined, we would love for submissions and inspiration for sound effects that we can use when we discuss motherfucking Jack Barlowe and the Little Incel Bitch Boy Club.
Yes, email us at thewingreaders@gmail.com. So some random guy asks what happens if they don't bond by dinner. Kaori says they'll be brought out by a professor or senior leadership. It is nearly 9, meaning the dragons are inbound. He wishes them good luck before leaving. Violet realizes that she will either leave as a writer or probably not leave at all. Rhiannon, Violet, and Ridoc hug, wishing each other luck. Ridoc says, don't die. And I just wrote a little note that I'm sad that Sawyer isn't included yet. Like, they become close soon. But I'm like, where's Sawyer?
Also, he could have answered all their questions about what happens if you don't bond.
Yep, yep.
Mm-hmm.
So we get one last group hug, and then they're off.
I have one kind of general note here about my experience on rereading. It's
Mm-hmm.
like the first few times I read this, my brain was in full like main character plot armor mode. Like they're gonna be fine. This isn't. I'm not stressed out
Mm-hmm.
at all. But I was already a little bit anxious when I was rereading it this time, and I was thinking more about what the actual stakes going into this are for them
Yeah.
without, the benefit of hindsight. It was making me so anxious I had to stop reading and come back later.
It's intense. It is intense. You don't just have to worry about the dragons. You gotta worry about all the little assholes that are running around. So we jump into it a few hours later. Violet has come across several dragons, including 2 greens, 1 brown, 4 oranges, and now a red. She
It's a
immediately
fruit
knows that
basket.
this is not her dragon. Yes, little fruit basket of dragons. So she immediately knows this is not her dragon and makes sure to avoid eye contact. Violet has seen both bonded dragons slash riders flying off, as well as more incinerations, and knows she needs to be careful. The red moves on, and Violet notes that she's met a dragon of every color and no hint of connection, which is funny because the 2 dragons that she bonds are none of those colors. She fears she is not going to be bonded. She says, what if I'm one of the cadets who's destined to never become a writer? One who's thrown back time and again to restart first year until eventually something puts me on the death roll. And here is where we get an answer to our quandary of, do they just get to repeat once and then they either are killed by dragons or have to go to a different branch? So it does seem like they can choose to repeat indefinitely until they either bond or die in some way, shape, or form.
I'm sorry, I'm just imagining that poor motherfucker that survived this three
Like a
times. They're
super
like,
senior.
Super, super senior.
right, and like, just fuck it, I'll do it
Yep.
again.
One of them's gonna want me eventually.
Eventually. Maybe if I kill enough people this time.
Yeah.
uh, so Violet wants to get a better perspective, both literally and figuratively, which I wrote Zugma. So she climbs about 3/4 of the way up a tree and surveys the valley. The reds, browns, and I wrote the reds, browns, and reds. The reds, browns, and oranges are blending in, but she sees some greens. Still doesn't feel any pull, though. She does feel validated because she can see at least 6 cadets still wandering about, and then catches a golden glint in a clearing, guessing that the feathertail is watching in curiosity. Quote, she says, I'm apparently not going to find my dragon up a tree, so I climb down carefully and as quietly as possible. And I'm like, you just did. You just did find your dragon
Up a
up in
tree.
that tree. So she climbs down, immediately highs because she hears some voices, and of course, it's motherfucking Jack Barlowe and the Little Incel Bitch Boys, who are now a music group in my brain.
Yes.
I wrote, they're on their farewell tour because tragedy will turn the trio into a duo. Our little music group, they're hunting down Andarna, and again, how are the other dragons not immediately killing them? Do they not
Mm-hmm.
have the urge to protect Andarna because she made the choice to leave the safety of the Veil?
This
And
should be a point of
again,
pride, though. You can't just set the precedent of letting humans kill
yeah,
your kind.
I know. I'm so
Or maybe they just
confused.
don't see it as a real threat because they're like, puny
She
humans.
can handle herself.
She
It's
can
three
just
puny
fly
Yeah,
away
humans.
like she does.
yeah, okay. And then I also have this note here that we can get into a little further down the road. But how does motherfucking Jack Barlowe bond a goddamn dragon?
Right?
How is
Mm-hmm.
any dragon wanting him? And then I'm like, okay, we know that later on he's controlling his dragon through his venom power. So does he just manipulate the dragon already by channeling the earth? Like somehow
Or is he somehow like? Is this why they're not getting attacked while they're wandering through the? What are we in
the
again? A
valley.
canyon, a valley. Thank you.
Yeah.
my brain went field for some reason. I'm like, that's not right. As he's like wandering through the trees, going, "I'm gonna kill a dragon." Maybe he's
Mm-hmm.
using venom power somehow to like make it so the dragons are just not recognizing the threat.
Yeah, possibly.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see how any dragon, unless there's one that for some reason is like, yeah, fuck Andarna, like for whatever reason would be like, oh Jack, yeah, hell yeah, I dig you. Anyways, we can talk about that more later. So Violet is strapped with her daggers, but feels inadequate compared to their swords. There's a note about swords being heavy. I feel like we should skip that for now
Yes,
because
rich for conversation later.
yes, Drew is reading through the books and had a note about that we have arguments about. I might just cut this out because it's way too big. Anyways,
I did wonder, like, when they're talking about maybe we should just go look for our own dragons instead of doing this silly fool's errand. And Jack is like, oh no, don't worry, they'll still be there. And I was like, well, but what if they won't? Like, what if they get tired of waiting for you and decide you're not worth it anymore? Or, like,
yeah,
somebody else bonds them, or someone else burns you first.
Or you get knocked unconscious because someone decides to let you live.
yep, it's
Or
hubris.
if you're
It's
tiny and you get
hubris.
burnt to a crisp before you can even make it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just
Yep,
saying, there are
yep.
consequences you haven't considered.
Yeah, they're talking about that the scrawny one is going to get someone killed, and I just wrote the parallels because obviously Andarna is a dragon stand-in for Violet.
Mm-hmm.
Violet doesn't think that anyone, especially the dragons, would take too kindly to them killing her. The trio heads towards the clearing where Violet saw the Golden, and as Jack is talking about the Goldens refusing to fight, being useless in combat, Violet states that no one knows anything about the Goldens, and I just wrote, except your dad, Violet.
But I want to emphasize here, he doesn't use the word Goldens, he uses feathertails when he
Feathertails.
references
Okay.
them.
Sorry, that is what I meant. That is what I
So,
meant.
like, I'm sitting here thinking they refuse to fight. He knows they refuse to fight. I don't think the Venin know that the Irids have left the hold. I think that they think the Irids are still hiding in the valley somewhere.
See, and here I have a note kind of related to that. So first I wrote, where is he getting his info? Obviously, the Venin. The Venin know more about dragons than we do because if Violet's even like, nobody knows about the Feathertails. How are you getting this information? And I do think that they know that Feathertails are babies. And we also know that Theophany knows about the Irids.
Wait,
Like
who knows that they're babies?
I think that just the Venin do.
Okay.
I think they have that information. But Theophany knows about the Irids before like anyone else does.
But also
And
thought that
so
they might be a myth.
did she? Okay, that throws my thing out the window then.
There's just a
Because
lot
I
of
was like,
there's just a lot of conflation of the adult Irid feathertails and the golden baby feathertails.
Right?
yeah, yeah. And because wrote, like, is he knowingly trying to take Andarna out, knowing that she is an Irid, or is, like, could be an Irid, or something like that? Because he is, like, so hell bent on killing her. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
I also love this comment that they're useless in combat when you really think about it, and Darna has been one of the more useful combat elements in
Yeah.
their
She's
negotiations.
she's as a baby definitely not refusing to fight. Like her people, the Irids, sure, but babies, no,
Yeah.
they're full of vim and vigor and ready to bite things.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So it does seem that they have the information about the Feathertail Irids.
And like I think about the fact that they can once they've reached maturity, the fact that they can basically become stealth dragons. Like
Yes, yeah.
the number of
Useful.
times Andarna has appeared out of nowhere, and now I'm just going
Mm-hmm.
to incinerate you.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. Violet realizes that no one is coming to stop them and worries about the Golden's ability to protect herself. And just in my notes, disclaimer, I go back and forth between calling her the Golden and Andarna and it and her because, again, I have no internal consistency. But Violet sighs in resignation and knows that she has to at least try to warn it. She goes quickly and quietly, relying on her experiences of playing hide and seek in the woods with Dane. Then she trips over a branch, her ankle popping, and she goes down. As someone who has sprained her ankle several times, ouch. Ouchie, ouchie, ouch.
Mhm.
I haven't actually sprained my ankle, but my right ankle is the one that's having problems right now, and it's the only one
Hmm.
that ever has problems, so I related to not being able to walk on it very well.
Yes. Yep, I've sprained my right ankle 3 times? I believe 3 times. It's ugh.
Ouch.
And every time I thought it was broken because it was making some not good, grindy, feely noises and I couldn't put any weight on it. Yeah.
Oh.
Not fun.
As
Not
as
fun.
someone who has broken their right foot,
Very recently, in fact.
I can tell you the noises aren't so much the thing. The not walking on it, that was new to me. Like, I have never experienced pain like that until I tried to put weight on my foot after I broke it.
Yeah.
And hot damn. But yeah, no. My sympathy goes out to anybody who injures an extremity below their hips. Like, it takes
Yes.
out half your body, and this calf is still like twice as big as this calf.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. It fucks you up for sure. So, Violet cannot block out this pain, and she limps the last few feet into the clearing, beating the trio. It is a huge clearing with the golden right in the center, just waiting for Violet. Violet tries to shoo her away, and Darna pivots her head towards Violet, blinks, and swishes her tail like, "Oh, hey, it's you!
Hey, girl, hey!
Hey, girly!
Hey, what's up?" And just like how Violet's like literally like, "Get out of here, go on!" And calls her Goldie. Yes,
That
you,
I
Goldie!
love. And
Get
like,
out of here!
notably, Violet is very much breaking the rules here because you don't talk to
Talk
dragons.
to dragons. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is just
Yes,
like when
it's-
you're trying to like to continue the cat comparison. When you're trying to herd a cat and you're like, "Come on, move," and they're just like, "I'm just gonna roll over on my back because you're giving me
And look at
attention."
Yep. Yep.
Or when you try to take them for a walk on a leash and they just lay down and get dragged.
Yep.
Yes.
No, you can't make me do anything. No, and it's going back to John, you had said that you're not supposed to talk to dragons unless you're bonded. This is just yet another example of Violet choosing to break the rules because something is morally wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And do we have a little bit of an autistic coded Violet here? With a strong moral compass that doesn't necessarily line up with established rules.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this the other day because there are so many ways where like rule following is autistic and so many ways where breaking the rules is. And I was trying to figure out like what's the pattern here because obviously I had to figure out the rules.
Yes.
And basically what I came up with is when you're given explicit rules with consequences, or basically just if they're written out and handed to you, probably by default you're going to follow them. But as soon as there's something that you either it's unspoken, it's like a social rule, or it doesn't really have real consequences other than like, oh, people might dislike you, or you have a moral objection to it, then you're just like, oh, I'm gonna throw these ones out the window.
Yeah. Adding to that, if you don't understand why it's a rule.
Right. If yeah.
That's another big one for me.
Hence my stop, drop, and roll comments.
Yes.
Yeah.
What that makes me think of is like, I don't relate with a lot of that, but Cassie has heard me say this before. When I start a new job and I like am being taught how to do something in an office for the first time, and they go to show me something and I say, why do you do it that way? A, because I know a better way, or B, because I can come up with 3 better ways off the top of my head right now without any hesitation. And the answer I get back is, oh, that's the way we've always done it. As soon as I hear that phrase, and I have warned every employer that has hired me for 10 years now, if I hear that phrase,
I will not be doing it that way.
it will be changing. I will make it my life mission, and I will die on that hill before I ever back down.
Oh, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I am notoriously bad at training people because I always find a better way to do things, at least for myself, that isn't exactly the way that it's quote unquote supposed to be done, but I find it to be either more efficient or makes more sense in my own brain. And so I will try to teach it that way, but then it never makes sense to anybody else. And so I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
ooh, I'm sorry. So Violet realizes that this isn't going too well, and motherfucking Jack Barlowe and his cronies enter the clearing with their weapons drawn. And Darna starts growling. Motherfucking Jack Barlowe says they will make it painless. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, who are you like reassuring like Orin, who is like having trouble with this? Are you ensuring And Darna, like, I don't know. I just think this is a ridiculous thing. I don't think you care about making it painless.
And also, is that
More
even
to the
possible?
point, that's what I was gonna say is, can you name a way to kill somebody with weapons that will ever be painless for zero amount of time? Like, you can minimize how long it'll be painful.
I feel like decapitation, it's like such an like a fraction of a second that maybe not.
But then maybe your head's gonna stay living for a minute.
Well, or
That
like
too.
you lose connection
Yeah.
to the nerves. Like, that's the problem, is you may lose connection to the nerves, but there is some amount of time where there's oxygen in your body and you are still functioning above the neck, and the nerves may be severed, but they're still connected to your brain.
Yeah.
And so there's like any any way to kill somebody that doesn't involve first sedating them will never truly be painless, because they will experience the pain no matter what.
I think this, and the second most painless is the fire option, because it's literally incinerating all your nerves.
Yeah.
And so they can't send those signals anymore.
And like, you can make an argument that dragon fire could be considered painless because it's so hot and so effective that
You're
you
dead
are
before it can even get up to your brain.
right. The
Yeah.
nerves are incinerated before in entirety before they can communicate shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't see any dragon fire coming out of Jack Barlow's mouth.
Amen. Unless no.
Not that it would work. Remember,
Not his own anyway. Maybe if he like opens his mouth while being burned. I need to start doing a John face plump count. That's 2 right there.
oh my god. Ugh.
So Violet tells the golden to blast them, but it doesn't blast them, and Violet feels sure that it just cannot. She likens the dragon to herself and realizes that she needs to intervene because this is wrong, even if it may end her life. She walks through her pain so that they cannot see she is injured and says that they can't do this. Motherfucking Jack Barlowe is like, excellent, a BOGO sale, then says he's been looking forward to this.
And 3.
Violet tells the golden to fly away and it chuffs at her, and this is probably Andarna saying, yeah, right, and missed the show. Violet says, you cannot kill a dragon, and hones in on Orin, who is the moral weak link. She says they'll have to go through her, raising her daggers in the throwing position, and Jack's like, great, should be fun, and they lift their swords, and I just wrote, do they have choreography? Because I imagine they're like practicing in the mirror, like, okay, and then we'll all lift our
And
swords. And 3, 2, wait, 5, 6, 7, 8.
It's almost like Charlie's Angels. I'm sorry.
Yes. Then Xaden says, I would strongly recommend you rethink your actions. And I strongly believe that's because he has full confidence in Violet being able to kick their motherfucking asses. He's like, you need to rethink this, not because of me, not because of Andarna, not because of Scale. You need to rethink this because of Violet. He is casually leaning against a tree in his signature arms crossed stance. Again,
I'm totally not invested.
Yeah, I'm totally chill and relaxed and do not care. And Scale is flanked behind him, and she is there looking out for Andarna, and that is the end of the chapter. I feel like we actually breezed through this one, you guys.
That's what I was about to say, is we've barely hit 45 minutes. I'll obviously add the chat we already had, and then you'll cut my little horrible joke. But motherfucker, yeah, we flew through that way
We
faster
did a
than I
great
thought
job
we
on
would.
this one. I do have 2 thoughts that might add a short couple minutes. My first thought is like, how does this not count on some level as interference? Like, he's not doing anything, but words still are having an effect on what
Yeah.
the cadets are doing and thinking. And words literally count as actions in some settings. Like, Like,
Yeah, I would guess that the codex probably is like you cannot physically intervene. I feel like
I
they maybe it doesn't say that, but I feel like they definitely put more weight into actions over words, and he does say in the next chapter like there's nothing wrong with narrating.
yeah, we'll get there.
So
so the one thing I will say with that is the Dragon Riders Codex is both notoriously short and notoriously vague in a number
Mhm.
of areas. And
yeah,
so what I would argue is I don't think there's any qualifications on the phrasing. It just simply says
sure.
in threshing no bonded rider shall intervene in the process
Mhm.
of determining a bond or whatever the phrasing might be.
Yeah, this feels like a real gray area.
Mhm.
I think that we're hitting this wonderful right. I feel like we're hitting that wonderful gray area where if so long as Zayden can look at like Panchek and say, or Mama Sorengale and say, hey, I was leaning against a tree with my arms crossed. I was so disengaged physically, I wasn't even there.
I was just watching.
Hell, I wasn't even using my shadow. Yeah, I was just getting an up close view because it looked like it was going to be a good show.
Mhm.
And that's not intervening, that's enjoying a show. And like if you
Sure,
can
but also
if you can
talking to
convince
the
a
show.
But that's their word against his.
right, and there's also the argument of like who's to ever report him if he were to just kill all three of them right there and then, and no one ever like Violet's not going to report him, and Darna's not going to report him, Sigale's not going to report him, and no one
Mhm.
else seems like they're around.
And we get the helpful information from Dane that at threshing they don't record how people die; they just count the
That
bodies.
is true. Yeah, like clearly it's easy to get away with this. I'm just
And
like
Zayden doesn't give a fuck about the rules. He doesn't care.
no. I just wanted to discuss that.
He will do things. I think that especially with the conversation that we get between him, Dane, and Violet after bonding occurs, I think that Xaden fully would, and I mean we see it in the next chapter that he starts to step
Mhm.
forward. Um, he absolutely would step in if he believed that Violet was like oh fuck, Violet's about to die,
Mhm.
but like. So he doesn't give a fuck about the rules. I think that he is standing back and letting Violet take care of it though
Yeah.
because again he has faith in her, he thinks that she can handle it, and I think that ultimately it is like a huge boost in her confidence that like being able to be like yeah I took on three guys and I injured one enough that he ran off crying, I knocked one unconscious, and I cut one badly enough that he would have bled out and died
Mhm.
regardless of what happened before Taryn landed. So I think that, you know, like this is something that she needs to show herself as well that like I can fucking handle myself.
For sure.
I think yeah, it's Zayden kind of giving her chance to shine. He doesn't fucking care about the rules. He would have intervened if he had to.
Yeah.
So it kind of doesn't matter
Yeah.
like if it's words or actions.
For him, I guess not.
For Dane
I just
maybe.
really wanted to know like what counts here. Like what
You wanted to be a scribe in the Dragon Riders Codex, and I gotta be honest with you here. This is one of those areas of the law in this world where that is never gonna work for you unless
Mhm.
you're Violet and you're going up against Panchek and throwing smart ass remarks out there and hoping he chuckles along and goes, yeah, that sounds nice. Like, Violet's whole I can use the rope and I can use the dagger on the gauntlet. That was totally. I think she was prepared to go to Panchek and be like, "Hey, this was mine. I carried it
State her
across."
case, yeah.
write an essay, a
Right,
speech.
like,
Yep.
and I bet you she would have thrown in a few smartass remarks and jokes along the way because she knew that she was not appealing to a scribe. She's appealing to a writer,
Mhm.
and it's the
Mhm.
writer that gets to decide the semantics here.
Yep. Yeah. I think that if it were Dane in Zayden's shoes, I think that he would agree with you, Cassie, that any talking would count as intervening and he would not do anything.
Mhm.
He would not open his mouth. He would not do anything.
But how much of that is because he thinks that Zayden is talking simply because Zayden wants to be Violet's demise? Like, I think Dane's issue with the fact that Zayden may or may not have intervened is entirely based on that's Zayden Ryerson, and he still can't accept.
I don't know, because in the conversation, Dane was like, hesitate, like, would you have stepped in if she was gonna die? And he was like,
Yeah, like he
Yeah.
has it
I
out
don't
for
think he would
Xaden for
have.
sure, but I don't think like if it was a different wing reader in this position, I think he would still be upset at them for speaking or doing
Yeah.
anything also.
Yeah.
My second thing, which is kind of tied into Violet's confidence and stuff, is we do get a scalp prickle here, and I was just wondering, like, what is the
Yes!
purpose of him reading
I
her
can't believe I
attentions right
didn't.
now? Like, is he gaining something from this in order to make
Yeah,
his
she
decisions,
doesn't intend to
or
back down. She
or
won't
is
run.
this also Rebecca Yarros just like really trying to associate those two things in our minds?
That too.
First of all, I can't believe I did not call out the Spidey senses. Thank you for bringing this up. Spidey senses, her scalp prickles. Um, I think that this is twofold. One, yes, what is Violet's headspace here? Is she like fucking terrified? Is she in over her head? Do I need to step in?
Hmm.
Or does she feel like she can handle this? Second, I think it is serving also for Scale to communicate with Tarn. So I don't know if necessarily Scale's like, hey, what are her intentions here? Or if it's just kind of like a more passive, like he's still kind of used to just like feeling people's intentions. And this is giving the information to Scale of like, she is protecting the baby. Tarn, get your ass over here. Like,
I'm completely on the bandwagon of this was definitely Zayden checking Violet to be like, again, like I said, will you back down? Because if
yeah.
Violet runs and Indarna is there, theoretically, he doesn't need to intervene. She could probably
Hmm.
get away from these fuckers if she needed to. Indarna could fly away. Everything would be fine. But in
Yeah.
that moment, he needs to be absolutely sure, is this necessary? And he's checking her intentions and getting the intention of, I will protect this golden dragon. I will protect the dragon.
Yeah.
And that is what's convincing him that it needs to happen. I also think that is what's triggering Sigil to go, look at how this girl is protecting this dragon that we
Woman, you
later
were right the
find.
first time.
Woman, yeah, this individual is
Yes.
protecting this dragon the same way, because we learn later that Taryn and Sigil kind of naturally assume the parental role of
Yes.
over
Yeah.
Indarna because her parents are so long gone.
Yep.
And so in a lot of ways, I think it wasn't that she needed to check to see anything for Taryn. I think it was Zayden's checking to see, do I actually need to be here? Finding this reaction that then inspires Sigil because, well, she thinks just like I do. Even if she is tiny, she can't be that bad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is what triggers Taryn, who's actively watching the scene with Sigil. Or
Yeah, I think that yeah, this might be like the final test for Violet perhaps. I still think that even back at the parapet deck on conscription when Scale is like getting Violet's medal, I still think that at that point she was like, "Okay, I have plans. I have plans." Anyways, any other thoughts on this chapter that we actually breezed through?
I'm I am a little curious that Rebecca decided to split up
The threshing
13 and
chapters.
14.
Yeah.
Because like then you look at how far, like chapter 14 basically takes us into the air, but it doesn't take us into the ground. And so yeah, the way that Rebecca Yarros has chosen to split up this day is
Hmm.
actually rather interesting. It might like
Gotta
it
use that
Yeah.
Xaden appearance as a mini cliffhanger. Take a breath, breathe,
Yep.
look at the next page. Like, not even turn the page,
Grab some
just
water.
look at the next page.
look at the next page.
Yep.
And like there could be an argument that she wanted to introduce, like if there's any argument I can make, there's three arguments I can make here. Each of the chapter breaks throughout the day seems to occur at a cliffhanger, right? This chapter
Yes.
break, she's facing down three attackers trying to defend Andarna. Xaden shows up. The next one is
Yes.
her falling out of the sky, and will Taryn save her? And the one after that is, will she get to keep her bond, and why is she supposed to stick with Xaden? Because it kind of fast forwards us through, if I remember right, it fast forwards us through the end of Threshing and into the Empyrean meeting.
I believe so. That sounds right to me.
Basically, it's a little bit before the Empyrean meets, but it's after it's revealed that she has 2 dragons. And so, like, there's one argument that you could easily make here, that each of these chapter breaks is around a major pivotal point that, like, if you put it down now, it's... I hate to say this, but she's writing in the one more chapter inspiration that Cassie despises.
I didn't say I despise it. I just said it gets me.
The cliffhangers.
It does feel that way.
Our girl is the king of cliffhangers. We have to recognize that. But then also, the only other argument I can make here is she has... The next couple of epigraphs are actually rather important plotline-wise in some ways. And so you could also make an argument that she needed to get these extra epigraphs in, right?
Yes, and it seems like the only couple times that she does 2, the only one I can think of is the addendums to the marked ones.
When there's 2 quotes in the same addendum, that is the only example.
Or the same. That is the only one?
That is the only example.
Okay, good, because that was the only one I could think of, so I'm proud of myself there. So, and those are obviously, like, super relevant. They have to go with each other. Like, the addendum 5.3 only makes sense with addendum 5.2 because it says in addition to last year's changes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that also makes sense to me. It's like, okay, I want to get more of these in here. So let me stop it there.
Yeah, and so that is also a wonderful thing. And it's this weird moment where, like, we talked about this at the beginning of last chapter, I think, or somewhere along the way. Again, time is slowing down page-wise.
Yes.
Where one page covered 2 weeks, not 3 chapters ago. Now, 4 chapters are covering 1 day.
Couple of hours, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that day isn't crucially important, but...
Yes. Yeah, I think this is just, I mean, I have said again, and I will say again, that her technique for writing tension, I think is excellent, and I think breaking up these chapters just adds to the tension. The pacing of being very, like, snappy, and we got to keep it moving. So much is going on. So
I love that I have now taken to calling Violet, Rhiannon, and Rebecca Yaros as our girl.
Yes, yep, our girls. Our girls.
But yeah, no, she is the queen of the cliffhanger. That has always been known, book by book, but it's very interesting to see it chapter by chapter. And kind of on a repivoting back to personal and battle brief stuff. Xaden. I say this because he's your partner and has an issue with Xaden's name. Drew is flying through these books because he's already into Iron Flame, right?
Oh, he finished Iron Flame.
What?
He just hasn't-
Wow, look at
Motherfucker!
him.
He hasn't started on Storm yet, though.
He's loving it, isn't he? He's secretly loving it.
He's enjoying it enough to be whizzing through them.
Can
That's
you
what I'm
please
saying.
get him to talk to Tyler and get him to read these damn books? I keep begging. I'm like, you need to read them, Tyler.
Or listen to them. Yeah, no. So, like, the
Yes.
fact
I mean,
that...
Drew was heavily motivated by the incentive of getting to be on the podcast afterward. And
I
then
told Tyler that he could
fell
be
for
too,
the books
but
along the
I
way.
don't know.
Yeah. Either way, like, the fact that he is just flying through these books, because he started Fourth Wing a week ago, it feels like.
I
Just
think
over
it was
a week
2
ago.
weeks.
Well, regardless.
Yeah, and so, like, the fact that he is just whizzing through these books as fast as he is just even that much more of an indicator that they're that hard to put down.
They are so hard to put down. They're so good. All right, so I think that is going to do it for us for chapter 13. So until next week, goodbye.
Bye.
Judy.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Wing Readers. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky at The Wing Readers, or you can send us an email at thewingreaders@gmail.com. It would mean the world to us for you to subscribe and rate us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. New episodes drop every Tuesday. We'll see you in chapter 14.